4 different energy zones. Performance zone, which is where you want to be, confident, challenged. I would even say under a little bit of pressure here. That's the performance zone. You're in the pressure, you want to score the goal, win the game, achieve the project on time, whatever it may be. That's the performance zone. Sometimes we have to drop out of that and come into the recovery zone. Calm, relaxed, revival, getting energy back, sleep, all that type of stuff, yeah, if you do it properly, okay? Those are the good energy zones. What stress does is puts us in the negative energy zones, mainly survival, but could be burnout, okay? So the survival mode is where people get angry, frustrated, tense, defensive, fearful, and anxious. That tells us that that is stress that's causing it. The stress, that's what it moves you over into this zone. Now, prolonged exposure to this stress could actually flip your energy to nothing and you move in to the burnout zone. And the burnout zone is exhausted, burnt out, defeated, hopeless, sad, or grieving. So they're both negative energy zones that stress will generate you into, okay? But one of them has lots of energy, top one. Bottom one has little energy, okay? And actually, doctors would tell you that the burnout zone is actually worse than survival zone. Most people think this is the worst type behavior, whereas doctors will tell you that burnout is the worst type behavior. Why? Because when you're angry and frustrated, you have a certain level of chemical in your system. There is a certain level of get up and go that you can actually, if you catch yourself doing this, you can channel it into the right way and get back over here. Whereas when you're down here, burnout, hopeless, there is a lack of chemical in your system, and then you struggle to get out of it at that point. And this is where you would have depression ultimately in here, down here. So nobody really wants to be in these zones. But stress moves us from these zones into these zones. Remember, pressure, good in this zone. Yeah, as long as it's, as Darren said earlier, as long as it's good pressure. Yeah, if it's unwarranted, you'll probably take it as stress, which will move you over here. Anyway, okay? But remember, we generate our own stress and our own pressure. Yes, we have external forces that is applied to us. I understand that, okay? But nobody is in charge of your chemicals in your system other than you. It takes a bit of practice and it takes a bit of time, and sometimes we don't always get it right, but there are some things that we can do in order to prevent us from getting into this zone in the first place, okay? If you are in this zone already, if you are in this position, yeah, I suggest you pause. Now, I haven't got the slide up here behind me, but some of you will remember the pause model that we've used before. Pause, acknowledge, understand, solution, and execute. But the key word in there is pause, P. When you are in this zone, one of the best things you can do is just stop. Just pause. Because when you're in this zone, you're running at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Okay? And I know some of you will be sitting there going, I ain't got time to pause. I ain't got time to pause. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this, I've got to get that done, I've got to get this done, I've got to get that done. Well, put it this way. If you continue to do this, what you deliver will not be at its best, ultimately, and you will get ill at some point. So it's a choice that you've got. If you continue to run down the stress line, that stress line, and continue to feel angry and frustrated and annoyed and all this type of stuff, anxious, at some point your work will start to suffer, and more importantly, your health will start to suffer. So if you are in this phase, the best advice I can give you right now is to pause. Just stop, take stock, yeah? Speak to somebody. I'm going to go through the 10 things that you can do to prevent this, but some of these things you can also do if you're in the middle of it as well, okay? Ultimately, if you live your life like that, well, it's not going to be that long, is it? Because we know what stress can do ultimately, don't we? Ultimately, stress can make us have a heart attack, can't it? Yeah, we don't want any of that going on, do we? So, for most people, it's not that bad. Okay, for most people, stress is something you just don't like every now and then. Yeah? But we don't want to keep living in this zone. If you are constantly in this zone, or even moving between this zone and getting no recovery in whatsoever, then you're going to struggle. So, what are the 10 things that we can do to help us not really try and get over here, or only come over here at the worst, just at the odd occasion that we get over there, okay? And normally, by the way, if you find somebody's angry and frustrated, it's normally because they're passionate about something. People don't normally get angry and frustrated if they're not passionate about something. Okay, so if you can find that passion and redirect it, then you get them back over here.